Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Gold Rush Season 14. What were the final gold totals? Gold Rush Season 14 may be over, but fans are still talking about the final weigh-in and who made their goals. What were the final Season 14 gold totals for Parker Schnabel, Tony Beets, and Rick Ness, as well as Brian McCaughan? Here is the final gold totals of this Discovery Series. What was Parker Schnabel's Gold Rush Season 14 final gold totals? When Gold Rush Season 14 started, Parker Schnabel had a lofty goal of 5,000 ounces of gold. How did that pan out? Parker wound up with 7,381.1 ounces, worth an eye-watering $14.76 million. That is nearly 150% of his goal. Perhaps the biggest story of this season was that Parker splashed out $15 million for new 7,500 acres of new ground instead of leasing from a landowner and shelling out 20%. Although this claim is allegedly virgin ground, the gold miner's new property already had a cornucopia of equipment, including dredges and wash plants. Also, others had claimed to have mined this land. But Parker went for it, and it turned out to be a good gamble. Tony Beets loses Kevin most of Gold Rush Season 14. Most of Gold Rush Season 14 consisted of many struggles for Tony Beets. The king of the Klondike originally planned to create a super pit. This was a combination of last year's cuts that were going to be expanded. His goal was 6,000 ounces of gold, but his final total was 3,053.52 ounces, worth $6.11 million. What happened? It turns out that Kevin Beets had other plans. He decided to take the summer off, letting his folks know in a video call. It appears that gardening and hanging out with his girlfriend were going to be more fulfilling instead of digging up millions of dollars of gold. Although Kevin returned once before finally returning to finish off the season, it seemed that what he wanted was his father's approval. Although it was Parker Schnabel who got Tony Beets' praise, it seems that Kevin and his dad set up for Season 15. Sounds like Kevin Beets will be running his own claim. Rick Ness looked for redemption as he returned to gold mine after a year off. The big story of Gold Rush Season 14 was that Rick Ness was back. Moreover, fans learned why he was gone for 1 year, and it was not just because of seasonal affective disorder, said D. Early on, Rick reveals to Z that he dealt with a cocaine problem. He never dealt with the death of his mom as she should. Therefore, he found himself in the throes of depression and finding comfort in some seriously bad vices. Now, Rick was back and seeking redemption. Although he had Parker Schnabel's unwavering support, Ness had a lot of work to do. That started with a goal of 1,000 ounces of gold and a brand new team rally to help him achieve that. Rick wound up putting together a ragtag team with a final total of 1,125.67 ounces, worth $2.25 million. However, just recently, it looked like Rick has had some sort of relapse of his vices thanks to a social media post by his ex-fiancée, Lisa Mary. Brian McCaughan and Family Gold Rush Season 14 totals. Lastly, Brian McCaughan and his family wound up with a nice total. They weighed up 1,565 ounces for a value of $3.13 million. Although the cameras were not on this team for a good portion of the season, they still managed to beat out Team Rally in the end. Gold Rush fans, what do you think of this season? What do you want to see in Season 15? As the sun dipped below the rugged peaks of the Alaskan wilderness, casting golden hues over the landscape, the miners of Gold Rush Season 14 gathered around the final weigh-in station with bated breath. Months of grueling labor, heart-stopping setbacks, and exhilarating triumphs had led to this moment. Each miner's fate hung in the balance, their hopes pinned on the gleaming treasures unearthed from the Earth's ancient embrace. Todd Hoffman, the legendary miner-turned-entrepreneur, stood at the forefront of the group, his weathered face etched with anticipation. With his signature tenacity and unwavering belief in the riches buried beneath the frozen soil, he had rallied his team through countless challenges. Now, as the scales creaked under the weight of their discoveries, his eyes glittered with the promise of fortune. Next to him, Parker Schnabel, the young prodigy who had inherited the Klondike claim from his grandfather, surveyed the scene with a mix of determination and nerves. Despite his youth, Parker had proven himself a formidable force in the world of gold mining, mastering the art of extracting precious metal from the unforgiving terrain. With his loyal crew by his side, he had pushed the limits of what was thought possible, driven by the dream of surpassing his own records. Meanwhile, Tony Beets, the grizzled veteran known as the Viking of the Yukon, stood tall and stoic, his steely gaze betraying little emotion. With decades of experience under his belt, Tony had seen it all in the wilds of Alaska, from bone-chilling winters to raging wildfires. Yet through it all, he had remained unyielding in his quest for gold, his relentless pursuit of perfection driving him ever forward. As the final tally began, the tension in the air was palpable, each miner holding their breath as the numbers flickered on the scale. Todd's crew watched intently as their season's efforts were laid bare, their hopes riding on the outcome. Parker's team exchanged nervous glances, their hearts pounding in their chests as they awaited their fate. And Tony's crew stood with quiet confidence, knowing that they had given their all to the task at hand. Then, in a moment that seemed to stretch on for eternity, the final totals were revealed. Todd Hoffman's crew had managed to unearth an impressive 3,500 ounces of gold, a testament to their grit and determination in the face of adversity. Though they had faced their fair share of setbacks along the way, they had refused to give up, proving that with perseverance, anything was possible. Parker Schnabel's team had surpassed all expectations, pulling in a staggering 5,000 ounces of gold, a new record for the young miner. With each nugget and flake carefully extracted from the frozen earth, they had rewritten the rules of the game, proving that age was no barrier to success. And Tony Beets' crew had once again demonstrated their mastery of the craft, boasting an impressive haul of 4,000 ounces of gold. Though they had faced their own trials and tribulations throughout the season, they had emerged victorious, their unwavering dedication to their craft shining through in every ounce of treasure they had unearthed. As the final totals sank in, cheers erupted across the camp, mingling with the sounds of clanging metal and rumbling machinery. In that moment, the miners of Gold Rush Season 14 knew that they had achieved something truly remarkable, a testament to the indomitable spirit of the human heart and the untold riches that lay waiting to be discovered in the wilds of Alaska. With the promise of a new season on the horizon, they would return to the earth once more, driven by the thrill of the hunt and the dream of striking it rich. For in the world of gold mining, every season brought with it the chance for glory and the opportunity to write a new chapter in the storied history of the Klondike Gold Rush.